Well, welcome here to Cardine Field, special edition of the Front Office Report, and I'm Nick Lehman, now joined by Newport Gulls General Manager Chuck Pava. Chuck, how are you today?
Good, Nick. How are you doing?
Chuck, we're getting you in the office today because it's going to be an early start again for the Newport Gulls, their second doubleheader of the season. Today they face off against the NECBL Southern Division leading Plymouth Pilgrims.
Yes, we do. An early game at 3 o'clock and followed by the regular scheduled game at 6:35. 2 7-inning games, Nick.
Tonight, the Newport Gulls, Chuck, coming into this game looking to rebound after a very tough July. The team was 14-5 in the month of June, just 4-11 so far here in July. What do they need to do to turn it around, and how important is it to turn it around before the playoffs start?
Well, it's obviously a good thing, Nick, to start turning around as soon as you can. I think the morale and the confidence of the kids and the team will always get better as you, of course, if you start winning some games. Yeah, we've had a very difficult month. 4-11 is unusual for the Newport Gulls. But, you know, I've said this all along. The team is still capable of beating anybody in a short series, and we just got to try to stay confident as much as we can. I've had a conversation with them about it. Keep believing in themselves, and they're here for a reason. They're good baseball players, and they're a good baseball team. So I'm hopeful that this confidence will a couple of wins will change that confidence for this team and continue getting them through the playoffs.
In baseball, anything can happen. We saw that 2016 go 32-10 in the regular season and get shut out by the Torrington Twisters in division finals, 2-0. 2011, we saw another 30-win squad lose in the first round of the playoffs. So you get to the playoffs and you take 2 out of 3 for an opponent, this team could very well be fighting for a division championship or a league championship again.
Well, there's no question about that, and I reminded this team of that in our team meeting just recently. And you know, we've had teams that come in here and have exceptional years. I mean, look at our team last year. We were first in the league. We won our division. We finished the season with 14 wins in a row, went into the championship, won the first game. It looked like it was inevitable that we were going to win the whole thing, but we lost the next 2 games. So, you know, even when you're hot, you just never know when you're going to get shut down. So, you know, right now we're struggling. There's no question about it. But we do still have enough talent on this ball club to cause some damage in a short series. There's no question about it. We still got some good starting pitching, and we got to just turn around. I think a couple wins will do that for these guys, you know, and getting to a playoff scenario, I think will help them.
Chuck, looking at the injury report right now around the team, a couple guys a little bit banged up. Reed Gamache, though, has been back in the lineup the last few games. Jose Vizcaíno Jr. has had a little soreness, too.
Yeah, we've had a few guys go, typical summer baseball. Jose just has a soreness in his shoulder, sliding into a bag. Tommy Edmonds' shoulder was a little sore from throwing, perhaps. Reed's wrist was a little sore from a swing. But they're not major injuries or injuries per se. They're just something that, you know, when you're playing every day, it's hard to give it a rest. So right now, I think even yesterday helped these guys out tremendously. They're both going to be in the lineup tonight. The other guy we lost was Nick Zamorelli, who had to go home for a minor correction or surgery type thing. But he, you know, we lost him and lost a couple of pitchers along the way. But again, we still have enough talent here to compete.
One of those pitchers the Gulls still have is a pitcher the Newport Gulls have had for 2 summers now, and that's Mick Van Vossen. He's getting a start here in Game 1.
Yeah, hey, we need we need Nick to be the guy that, you know, he can be, and he is. Very talented kid. He's just a little tired. You know, he pitched a lot of innings at Michigan State.
99.
Yeah, and here, you know, he started out with some starts and he was really strong. Went into the bullpen just to kind of cut back his innings and his workload, which was fine with us. He didn't have a lot of success there and didn't feel quite comfortable, so now he's back in the rotation. And, you know, we're trying to limit his pitch count and take care of him, and hopefully he'll give us a good start today because he's certainly capable of beating anybody in this league. He's special.
We've seen Gulls all-stars like Zamorelli, like Blaze Salter, and Tommy Edmond leading the team offensively all summer. In the past week, though, we've seen another 2-time Newport Gull, Ben Roberts. He has 3 home runs in his last 4 games.
Yeah, you know, it's nice to see Ben start picking it up. And, you know, it's really like all of this. It's a level of confidence. You know, when you're struggling, it's difficult. You know, you come out here and fight every day. You're fighting every day, and and the results aren't what you're looking for. So for Ben to start turning things around for him personally, to see that kind of success is only going to help him over the next, 2.5 weeks. This is what he needs to do, and hopefully that'll, get contagious with everybody else.
Baseball is a sport, Chuck, where the umpires are a big part of the game sometimes. And the last home game for Newport against Vermont, the umpires unfortunately factored into the call in a way that didn't go the Newport Gulls' way. I'm sure the Vermont Mountaineers were happy with the call out in left center field. Mike Coombs went out to argue the call, was eventually ejected from the game, and has to serve a suspension now from the league as mandated.
Yeah, listen, umpires are umpires. They're human. They make mistakes. You just want them to put in the effort that the players do and the staff does and everybody else does. And if they don't put in the effort, then it's a little frustrating. Compounded by losing, it makes things really difficult. And I think the fact of the matter is, was that call going to really make a difference? Who knows? We were already down 6 or 8-3. So, it was just a bad call or a bad situation for us. But the bigger piece there, I think Coach Coombs is fighting for his club. He feels the same frustration that his players do, I'm sure, and he wanted to go out there and show his support for his team. And unfortunately, his emotion got the best of him, and he didn't, he threw his hat, and that caused an ejection, and now he has to sit for 3 games, which doesn't help the club. But I know where his intentions were. They were good intentions. He's just trying to take care of his boys.
I can understand it with players, particularly since they're NCAA division athletes. You don't want them mouthing off at an umpire. You want to have a tough rule there with a 1-game suspension, automatic, a 3-game suspension for the second time they're tossed. But with coaches, would there be any consideration to maybe taking a look at that review as far as from a league perspective in the future and seeing with coaches it could maybe lighten up, maybe back to a 1-game suspension or something like that for when a coach is really just going out there and protecting his team?
Nick, it's a double-edged sword. We've had multiple meetings on this issue during our coaches' winter meetings down in Dallas this year. We discussed this very issue. The fact of the matter is there were more ejections with coaches than players last year. I think there were about 19 coaches were ejected and maybe 4 players. So that rule is in place for both coaches and players. Coach Coombs may not have been tossed for something that was just so flagrant. However, there are many incidences in this league where a coach can, get out of control, and it's happened, and that's why the rule's there. It's to protect everybody, the integrity of the game, to make sure coaches are representing what the league is about. We have a lot of fans in our stands, so we don't want coaches getting tossed every game and feel it's okay to do that because they only have a game suspension to serve. This is a deterrent. It's unfortunate it cost us.
Newport Gulls facing the Plymouth Pilgrims here today. Newport is 2-1 against Plymouth so far this summer. The Pilgrims have the best record in the NECBL, have really turned things around from that first season. Of course, they had a late start in recruiting the team.
Well, anytime Chris Patos is involved with putting together a baseball team, they're going to be competitive. I knew that up front, and we all knew that. His pitching staff is very good. They've been controlling a lot of the games they're in. They're a talented team. So, we just got to continue to grind it out regardless if it's Plymouth or any team in this league. We just got to, everybody's capable of beating anyone, and especially in a short series. So we just got to grind it out. Maybe we get a win or two tonight and just keep going. And at where we are today, we could be playing Plymouth in the first round of the playoffs. So we just got to keep working hard, Nick.
Finally, Chuck, it's the Summer League. Seems to happen this way every year when you have rainouts stacked up towards the end of the season. It's actually in the Newport Gulls' favor, though, this week. 5 straight days, only 1 road game, 5 home games, including the weird doubleheader tomorrow. We'll start with today's doubleheader. Of course, the Newport Gulls have a very special night. It's the Fanatic About Reading program at the People's Credit Union.
That's correct. Actually, the remainder of the week is supposed to be nice weather, at least what the weather programs say. But they're all special nights because we have games that were rained out that were meaningful. Our Raytheon Military Appreciation Night will be coming up. Our Mark Weed Memorial Night will be coming up. The Fanatic About Reading Night will be coming up. In addition, we have our Volunteer Appreciation and Host Family Appreciation. And it's winding down the season. We are going to get great crowds out to support our team. And, we're looking forward to some meaningful nights coming up.
So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the Newport Gulls will be home. Thursday was an off day, but Newport will be playing a makeup game against the Laconia Muskrats. Tomorrow, though, Newport has to play a 12 o'clock game at home, which will be an away game contest, technically, for the Gulls against the North Adams Steeplecats, who will be heading to Mystic for an away game themselves that night. Newport will then hop on a bus and head over to New Bedford.
Yeah, that was just a conversation and negotiation between myself and the GM up in North Adams. We got rained out yesterday. The percentages were way too high for us to travel up there again and risk the fact that we'll take that bus ride and not play like we did the other night. So they, hopefully, I'm grateful that they agreed to what I offered them to do, is to play a 12 o'clock game here. Then I would feed both teams, and they would go off to Mystic, and we would go to New Bedford. There's not a real home advantage in this scenario, because a 12 o'clock game at Cardines Field, we're not expecting any fans. We're just providing a venue to get this game out of the way and in the books. So this is, it's almost like being at some other field. But nevertheless, we'll get on a bus for the night game and keep pounding it.
Newport Gulls General Manager Chuck Baber, thanks for joining us this morning here in your office for our pregame show. We'll catch up with you again after this long week on Friday for the final front office report of the regular season.
All right. Well, let's go Gulls and see if we can get a couple of wins here this week and keep things moving.
Thanks, Chuck. Our pregame show continues next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.